flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. Yo permito lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación, dijo Dios, entra con libertad y justicia para todos.
Please be seated. So, Ruby, what is your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math. Very good. And what would you like to do when you grow up?
A doctor.
You want to be a doctor? Any particular type of doctor? Do you know? Just a general doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's wonderful. And what do you like most about your school?
Sir?
What do you like most about your school?
It's amazing. And all the teachers there work very hard to teach us, and so does our principal and our principal assistant.
Very good. And do you have some family with you? Would you like to introduce them, please?
My dad,
If
my
you would stand up.
mom, my brother, the principal, and the assistant principal.
Principal. Ruby, thank you so much for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You did a wonderful job.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
So this meeting, this August 20th, 2019 meeting of the Polk County School Board is called to order. Do we have any revisions to the agenda, Madam Superintendent?
Yes, we do. Item C8, new administrators, add item. Item C27, 2019-2020, student progression plan amendment, withdraw item. Item R29, learning science international external operator, add item. Item R33, recommendation for administrative and instructional personnel actions, revise item. Item R37, 2019-2020, staffing plan and organizational chart, amend item. And lastly, item R42, BSC, continuation of GRIP unit with Polk County Sheriff's Office, add item, revise item. That concludes the revisions for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. So this time I would entertain a motion to accept the August 20th, 2019 school board meeting agenda as revised.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Excuse me. Thank you. So the motion on the floor is to accept the August 20th, 2019 school board meeting agenda as revised. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we have no special recognition. At this time, I would invite anyone who would like to speak to any item on the agenda. So if there's an item on our agenda that you would like to address, please come forward and do so at this time. All right, so we have 3 sets of minutes to approve. Our first set of minutes are the minutes of the July 23rd, 2019 tentative budget meeting. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the minutes of the July 23rd, 2019 tentative budget meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The second set of minutes are the minutes of the July 23rd, 2019 roundtable meeting. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the minutes of the July 23rd, 2019 roundtable meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the last set of minutes are the minutes of the July 30th, 2019 school board meeting. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? The motion on the floor is approval of the minutes of the July 30th, 2019 school board meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is item C7, and this is approval of the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval of the consent agenda for August 20th, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? The motion on the floor is approval of the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Superintendent, we have new administrators.
Yes, we do. I am pleased to recommend the appointment of Lindsay Shelby. I'm going to try this. Is it Renesca? Renesca, okay. As assistant principal of Sand Hill Elementary. Ms. Selby Renesca previously served as the dean of students at Sand Hill Elementary. She attended University of Southern Indiana, earning two bachelor's degrees, one in education in social science education, and the other in history. She went on to earn her master's degree in educational leadership from Southeastern University. Welcome and congratulations.
Good evening. Thank you so much. First, I would like to give the glory to God for his incredible blessings. I would also like to take a moment to thank Superintendent Byrd, the Polk County School Board, and my regional superintendent, Michelle Townley, for the opportunity to serve as assistant principal at Sand Hill Elementary. Also, thank you to my principal, Kathy Conley, for her support and believing in me on my journey and entrusting me with this job of becoming her second in command. Thank you to Kim Van Hook, current assistant principal at Sand Hill, who has been my mentor. She has taught me how to be flexible, professional, and have fun all at the same time. A huge thank you to my husband, Jimmy Renesca, who has been by my side, seen me through this leadership process, and has supported me every step of the way. I could not have done this without him. I also have to thank my dear friends that I have here with me today. Their encouragement, support, and friendship has meant so much to me on this journey. In closing, I am looking forward to continuing to serve the community that is Sand Hill Elementary. Thank you.
Do you have some family members or anyone you would like to acknowledge?
Stand up.
Stand up.
We want to see y'all.
Wow. Congratulations again. Next, I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of Shannon Brown as principal of Davenport Elementary. Ms. Brown previously served as the assistant principal at Loftman Oaks Elementary. She attended Warner Southern College, earning a bachelor's degree in elementary education. She went on to earn her master's degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern University. Welcome and congratulations.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Byrd. It's an emotional day. I just began my 21st year, and this is something when I stepped into my first classroom 21 years ago, this was something that I knew that I wanted to do. I am a mom of 2 Polk County School Board students. I believe in the area. I was born and raised here. Davenport, Loftman, and Haines City are very near and dear to my heart. My husband and I are both graduates of Haines City High School, so when we say that this is our home and this is where our heart is, we truly believe in that. So I would also like to say I've had many leaders on my journey, but being a part of Team Townley is the best. So I will say, Superintendent Byrd, that was a good hire. We are very pleased with her. Also, Wanda Ponte. If you can work at Loftman, you can work anywhere. And so we have decided, Mr. McDougall and Mrs. Ford, we are both products. And so we've decided that we're ready. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart and my family's heart that this is something that I don't take lightly. Board members, I do promise you, and I take an oath that I will make this the best Davenport Elementary that they could ever ask for. The city of Davenport is ready for this. They want this. And the amount of support that I have already received is just overwhelming and heartfelt. So again, thank you very much. And I do have a small group with me. My sons both have practice today. My oldest is in his very first varsity golf tournament. So I sent my other supporter, my mom, as the golf, the rah-rah cheerleader, so she's riding around. But I have my husband, Chris Brown, I have Peter McDougall, my current partner in crime, the Dream Team, and my former partner in crime, Dream Team, Beth Ford. So again, thank you very much.
Congratulations to you, and we look forward to when we actually do the official naming of the elementary school as well. Thank you. This concludes our new administrators for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. So that, at this time, we'll move on to our regular agenda, and we'll move to item R29. And this is approval of the contract with Learning Sciences International, the external operator, assigned to McLaughlin, not to exceed $1,221,000.
Did we want to get pictures?
Of the
Oh,
new
excuse me.
We
administrators.
forgot.
the
Yeah, of our new
administrators, yes.
administrators before we.
My apologies.
You're good. You should have said
That
something.
way they don't have to stay.
Come up here. You want me to come down? Okay. Yeah,
your
my
district.
girls.
They're both Lori's area.
Who's the other administrator? Did they leave?
There were only two.
Oh, okay.
See, you got me a picture.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is approval of the contract with Learning Sciences International, the external operator at McLaughlin, not to exceed $1,221,750 over a period of 2 years. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Townsend?
So I don't know if the superintendent wanted to talk about this at all, like for the public or some folks here, or I'll just say what I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk a little bit about the contract first and what it entails.
Okay. And I do see McLaughlin's, there's some staff here in the audience, and I did let them know that the external operator, when I met with them, would be LSI, that would be out supporting the school. And I believe they're probably out this week with you all. And because even Lake Wells wanted to apply for the external operator, but they were not able to be qualified by the state to be an external operator. So that, therefore, we're bringing the contract for LSI to make sure that we support you all in moving the school, the continued movement of the school that you all are making forward, bringing forward.
And I would just add to that, I think it was helpful to have the state be very clear who could do what and who couldn't do what. Clarity is often very hard in the Lake Wales world, I've found. So, I think to the extent that we have to have an external operator, it's a state requirement. They took the old one out, put this one in. I hope these folks do better by you if the last folks didn't do as well. I also am happy somewhat to put, like, the Lake Wales divide is much, much greater than in McLaughlin. McLaughlin's like a subset of it. And we need to, as a board and their board as adults, get together and try to work out some ways to make that divide less pronounced. There are a million ways that we can collaborate. There are a million ways that we can support each other where nobody has to lose, where nobody has to brag about who's better than who. I think with the McLaughlin issue, I think largely settled, because I can tell you I'm never going to vote to turn you into a charter school. The next step is to think about Lake Wales as a whole and how we do a better job supporting each other instead of turning on each other. And I hope that you guys would be open for that. But mostly, I just want you to do the job you do every day under often difficult circumstances, and know that I appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Ms. Fields?
Well, I want to thank the superintendent for doing her due diligence as it relates to this issue. And one of the things that I said in the work session that I'm saying today is that we are very blessed to have a superintendent who knows the work. As I said in the work session, she could be the external operator. And so she's going to continue to be out. And I know that she's been to the McLaughlin School many, many times. And I know that the support is there from her and her team. And I want to say to the McLaughlin team, we are behind you. I'm behind you 100%. And I know that you guys are going to have a banner year, and we are looking forward to the celebration at the end of the school year. And it's my understanding that LSI is well equipped to do what's necessary with the partnership of our superintendent of schools and her team. And so I'm very pleased that we're able to provide this resource that's going to help to take you guys to the next level.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Ms. Reynolds?
Miss Kay beat me to most of the things I wanted to say, but I just wanted to say thank you to the teachers that are here tonight. You guys are in the trenches every day and who has moved these students so far, and we so appreciate what you're doing. I think we learned at the State Board of Education meeting that they are very supportive of the superintendent and your principals being the leaders at your school, and LSI being there to help. We are very blessed that we have an incredible superintendent. And I know because she came from Westwood, and I was very sad to lose her in Winter Haven at Westwood. But you have an incredible principal there who is ready to lead, and so ready to lead. We couldn't hide her in Winter Haven any longer. So I'm thrilled for her and for you all that she's over there, and that she can lead you in the right direction, because as the sign on the front row says, we are ready, willing, and able to make the goal, and I 100% believe that, and cannot wait until you're back here next year, because I'm pretty sure you're going to make an A, is my opinion. So you guys, I know you can do it, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Ms. Fortney?
Well, I want to thank y'all for putting up with me on orientation night, the first day of school, because I sure missed having a school to go to, but I was glad to get the invite. And ever need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'm behind you, your principals, 110%. There's one right there, I think. I don't know.
Speak of the devil.
And, oh, there's two. But when we were in that cafeteria organizing those kids, and she took that microphone, it was like E.F. Hutton. Like when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. And I thought, man, we need to bottle her. And it was awesome. So thank you all for your hard work. We support you 110% right here from my heart. Whatever you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. I also will be supporting this. I initially had some great concerns. I think the superintendent cleared those up this afternoon. Most importantly, we got a message from the state that the Lake Wales Charter School System was not qualified to step in as external operator. But in addition to that, what was most heartening to me was the superintendent informing us this afternoon that much like with educational directions, she still has control and say over what's happening. That I think it means a great deal to me in turning this school around. I still have some concerns, as you all know, and I'm sure that about the challenges we have in Lake Wales and the things that are happening there. So I was encouraged this afternoon when this board said they were very happy to meet with the Lake Wales Charter Board to have an open and honest discussion about what we can do to better serve all of our students in the Lake Wales community. So I look forward to those discussions, and look forward to seeing your successes. Ms. Cunningham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, too, am very excited. Thank you all for taking the time to come out tonight. I think we're going to see wonderful things at a McLaughlin It has always been near and dear to my heart as my child went to school there years ago. And I know that we are going to make the state proud. We're going to make our superintendent proud. And I think if everybody works together with a common goal and a purpose, and with some help from LSI, they are the experts, I believe we're going to rock and roll this year in Lake Wales. So God bless each of you, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. We wish you the best of success.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Any further comments? So the motion on the floor is approval of the contract with Learning Sciences International, the external operator at McLaughlin, not to exceed $1,221,750 over the next 2 years. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is item R30, and this is a motion to adopt Resolution 2019-2020-06. It's a sidewalk resolution presented by Polk Vision and Polk Transportation Organization in an effort to reduce pedestrian injuries and fatalities within 1 mile of public schools. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Reynolds.
I just want to commend the county on their efforts in this, along with Polk Vision. This is not something that they have to do, but they have gone out of their way to say that how kids get to school is a priority. When they came and presented this to us 2 weeks ago, they were not asking for a dime from us. They were just telling us we're doing this, and they've applied for multiple grants on behalf of our schools. One of them is Inwood, which is currently getting sidewalks. They've gone on their own, done this study that will map out every school in the district, where the sidewalk needs are for each school, which is something that not every district in the United States is doing. So I just want to commend our county for going above and beyond to make sure our kids are safe walking to school.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Any further discussion? So the motion on the floor is to adopt Resolution 2019-2020-06. It's a sidewalk resolution designed to reduce pedestrian injuries and fatalities within 1 mile of public schools. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is item R31, and this is approval of the contract with CMH Architects in the amount of $180,800 for the Westwood Gymnasium project number C-00310. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? The motion on the floor is approval of the contract with CMH Architects in the amount of $180,800 for the Westwood Gym project number C-00310. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R32, and this is approval of the right-of-way donation and a temporary construction easement adjacent to the Wood Lake Center. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the right-of-way donation and a temporary construction easement adjacent to the Wood Lake Center. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R33, and this is approval of the administrative and instructional personnel recommendations. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the administrative and instructional personnel recommendations. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is R34, and this is approval of the non-instructional personnel actions. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Motion on the floor is approval of the non-instructional personnel actions. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is R35, and this is approval of the temporary duty assignments. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? The motion on the floor is approval of the temporary duty assignments. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R36, and this is approval of the job description for senior manager ESE curriculum for charter and private schools. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the job description for the senior manager ESE curriculum for charter and private schools. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R37, and this is approval of the updated 2019-2020 staffing plan. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Fortney?
I just feel a need to share what I shared at the work session. I feel like we're at the cliff of a bad budget as far as taking care of our employees. And even though I don't support this position, I'm pretty sure I'm on an island, and I will support the position once I'm outvoted. So it won't be that I fight against it, but I will not support it in the vote. I feel like we need to take care of our employees that are on the ground.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Mr.
you.
Townsend?
It's all right, Sarah. I've been on an island too. It's fine. It'll be good. I think, I've talked about this before. This plan, specifically the chief of staff role, but also the senior director for a discipline. There are two ways to. There are two reasons why we lose people. One is obviously pay. And we don't pay you enough because the state does not pay you enough, and you know that story. The other half of that is the experience you have on the ground, whether it's the behavior of the kids in your class that that there's not enough help with, or maybe the leader in your school isn't doing what they need to be doing, and there's not enough oversight of that person from the district level to impose a sort of cultural norm that's built around retaining and serving people. To me, these two positions that are controversial here fall in the bucket of trying to improve your experience. It's the behavior plan that staff came up with after a lot of pressure from the board is probably the single most important thing that's going to happen this year, and it's incredibly important that we get it right. It's incredibly important that there be a person with clear responsibility for that, who we can all hold accountable, who the superintendent can hold accountable, and then we can hold her accountable for his performance. By elevating and highlighting that position, we put effective pressure on that position to do the things you guys need done at behavior. As far as the chief of staff role goes, there are three broad things that we've discussed this role having responsibility for, and that's sort of general efficiencies of the organization, so things run better. So that we're saving money, we're taking the opportunity to step away from the daily grind to actually find ways that our systems work better. So that we serve you better. There's also one of the things we struggle with a lot as a district, in my experience, is what I call stakeholder management. It's our ability to get ahead of and manage and think about things from the point of view of the folks who work for us or folks in the community, and to have someone whose role is sort of responsible for that, who has that kind of designated liaison role across the board, I think is very important. So both of these positions are to some extent a risk, in the sense that we're going to get criticism for them. I at the very end of the last board, before the new board came on, I voted against superintendent's raise, and I voted against a raise for our senior staff, not because I thought they were doing any kind of bad job, but precisely because of the question of how this looks and the question of solidarity. I think in this case, the potential benefits to how you experience your jobs, to how you experience life out there in the schools, is great enough for me to take that risk to be criticized for it. And I just wanted to explain my thinking on that, and that's really it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Ms. Fields?
As I stated in the work session earlier today, we are very blessed to have Miss Jackie, Superintendent Byrd, as our superintendent of schools, and the expertise and the knowledge that she has is second to none, especially as it relates to our turnaround schools and her experience there. One of the things that I remember vividly from last school year is in conversations with with Superintendent Byrd, she was always saying, I really would like to get out into the schools more. I really want to get out and do more and be on the ground and providing the expertise and knowledge that I can utilize to help move the schools. We have quite a few schools that are in need of the assistance that Miss Jackie can provide, but she needs to be able to get there. And she is pulled in many, many different directions. And I think that adding this position will alleviate some of the pulling that's on her, and she'll be able to actually do what she does best, along with other things. She does a lot of things good, so I'm not trying to minimize what she does. But she needs the support, and I am hopeful that this position will provide that support. And if it doesn't, we can always go back within a year's time and revisit it. But for right now, I think that we need to support her. She's asking for the support, and she wants to do a good job for the school district, but more than anything, she has a heart for the children, and that's why we're here, students first.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Ms. Fortney?
I don't want to be, I don't want to misspeak. I agree with that assessment, Ms. Fields, but it just being out in the schools and all that is great, but we are looking at doing more with less. I'm looking at custodians that are living paycheck to pay. I just want to make sure that this is public. We are looking at folks, we are losing people every day. Every time I turn around, we're losing somebody else. And it's not the beginning teachers that we're losing. We are losing our 15, 16, 17-year veteran folks on our staff. That costs us money to retrain them, to process them, et cetera, et cetera. And not that Superintendent Byrd doesn't need to be 3 people, because trust me, I'm at a lot of places she is, and you know, the woman is working. There is no doubt in my mind. But the thing I want to, as a history of being in this county a very long time, once you get one of these positions, it's very hard to get rid of it. And it just kind of stays there. And I just want everybody to be mindful of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. We had a lot of discussion about this matter, as you might imagine, and I think all of us have a different perspective of what this position should do. And I know some of us on the board indicated a desire to see someone in the mold of a chief operating officer, someone who would review our processes and procedures, review our positions to see where we could find inefficiencies and improve in our school district. That requires a special skill set. And you know, we have a lot of folks here who have backgrounds in education, and they do a wonderful job, incredible job. But I think it would be helpful to have someone with a background in process to look at our school district from the big picture, identify inefficiencies, and I think that I can't help but believe that in the long run this will free up money for us to do other things with, and most importantly, help pay our employees. Along with that, we've had discussions about how we find additional revenue streams. In fact, we had a conversation this afternoon about a referendum to bring in some additional revenues that we could then use to pay our employees. So I see it from that perspective. I think in the long run it has the greatest there's the greatest opportunity to find some inefficiencies, free up some money to do the things that we'd like to do down the road. And I think that over time it will more than pay for itself many times over. So that's why I'm going to be supporting this evening. Any further discussion? Okay. So the motion on the floor is approval of the updated 2019-2020 staffing plan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item R38, and this is approval of the DOH-Polk Comprehensive Health Agreement funded by the Head Start Administration, not to exceed $360,000. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the DOH-Polk Comprehensive Health Agreement funded by the Head Start Administration, not to exceed $360,000. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item R39, and this is approval of the Winter Haven Hospital Center for Behavioral Health. It's an agreement funded by the Head Start Administration not to exceed $50,000. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the Winter Haven Hospital Center for Behavioral Health. It's an agreement funded by the Head Start Administration not to exceed $50,000. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R40, and this is approval of the agreement with the Alternative Behavioral Concepts, Inc., not to exceed $95,000 for the 2019-2020 school year. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the agreement with Alternative Behavioral Concepts, Inc., not to exceed $95,000 for the 2019-2020 school year. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is R41, and this is approval of the agreement with DOH-Polk Dental Health. This is with DOH-Polk Dental Health, and it's agreement funded by the Head Start Administration not to exceed $42,000. What's the pleasure of the board?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So the motion on the floor is approval of the agreement with DOH-Polk Dental Health, funded by the Head Start Administration not to exceed $42,000. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the next item is item R42, and this is approval of the interlocal agreement with the Polk County Sheriff's Office to provide an additional 8 school resource deputies and 1 sergeant to focus on school security as it relates to gang intervention for the 2019-2020 school year. And this contract is not to exceed $720,000. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Motion on the floor is approval of the interlocal agreement with the Polk County Sheriff's Office to provide an additional 8 resource deputies and 1 sergeant to focus on school security as it relates to gang intervention for the 2019-2000 school year. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that takes us to our superintendent's report. Madam Superintendent?
Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome everyone back to another great school year. We had a great opening this year, and I want to welcome all the employees back as well as all of our students. And I want to remind our parents, I know that we still are dropping off a lot of our children as they get through the first week of school, and sometimes it goes into the second week. So again, please be patient, and please be aware that we do have children walking to school and catching the buses. So please slow down. Community members, please slow down so that we make sure our babies get to school and back home safely. The next work session will be held on Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2019 at 12:30 p.m. in the Superintendent's Conference Room located at 1915 Floral Avenue, and it's going to be followed by a school board meeting at 5 p.m. The last thing I'd like to add is I want to thank our transportation, our bus drivers, and our call center. This year, we received over 10,000 calls within that first week from our families. However, those calls went to the call center, and they actually were able to be assisted by one of 30 members at the call center. So again, I want to, I don't know if Rob Davis is in here, and I want to thank him and the team. It was a team effort, and I want to thank all of the employees that came in and that they hired for the call center. It was an awesome job. That concludes my announcements for today.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. Mr. Bridges?
No report, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Matthews, would you like to come down and talk to us about the 2019-2020 Internal Auditor Services Plan, please?
Yes, thank you. The Internal Audit Charter requires that the school board approve an annual audit plan. Using a risk-based approach, the audit plan covers as many areas as possible given our available resources. As you know, our department includes a staff auditor, a senior auditor, and myself. Audit plans must be flexible to account for unanticipated demands such as unscheduled audits and investigations. Any significant deviation from the approved audit plan will be communicated to the school board through periodic activity reports. The audit plan was previously provided for your review, and this evening I'm requesting your approval of the 2019-2020 internal audit plan.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. Are there any questions from the board members? Okay, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the 2019-2020 internal audit services audit plan. What's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Motion on the floor is approval of the 2019-2020 internal audit services audit plan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Matthews, and thank you for all you do. You do a wonderful job. Your staff does a wonderful job, and we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
We'll move now to our board members' reports, and we'll start with Ms. Fields.
No report.
Ms. Reynolds?
Man, I was not prepared to go this soon. Normally go the other direction. I had a great time last week. I was honored to get to spend the first week of school at Garner Elementary and Inwood Elementary. I sorted CUME folders. I labeled all of them. I sorted and alphabetized all of the transportation forms. And I got to spend a lot of time with kids helping with kindergarten lunch, which I had one kindergartner inform me that this was not McDonald's and this was not what he ordered. But we're getting there. Day 2 was much better. He thoroughly enjoyed it day 2. So it was so much fun to be in the classrooms and helping out last week. Additionally, Florida School Board Association, we had our first legislative conference call last week, which was basically just to set times and to determine that they needed to send out a survey to set times. So the official meeting will be the second week in September, I believe. But once we get the platform developed, I'll share with you when the conference calls will be in case anybody wants to jump on and see what they're saying. They normally are on Friday afternoons. And I had one more thing. Oh, I also, August 1st, got to attend the Back to School in-service with Miss Fortney for our bus drivers, which was a great time. And so we don't often get to meet with the bus drivers. So it was so nice to see everybody in one place and get to speak to our bus drivers. And additionally, that day, we had the Polk Academy's board retreat, which... Thank you all for letting me be on that board because it's one of the favorite ones that I do. So I really appreciate the opportunity to do it. But our academies have some great things. Steve Cochran's working on some incredible partnerships. And looking at Nashville, we're second to Nashville for our academies. Polk County, Florida is the second in the nation for academies. And I don't think we share that enough because that's a really big deal. But the partnerships with community members and businesses is huge. So thank you for all of our community members that are involved in different academies throughout the county. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Ms. Gunningham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to give a shout out tonight to one of our newest principals in Polk County, Miss Cindy Brayton. She's principal of Davenport School of the Arts. And I'm just so happy. We had an incident, as most of you probably saw on the local news, in the neighborhood of the school. And let me tell you, the response from the teachers, the staff, parents, students, everybody works so hard to keep our children safe. And I just think that was incredible. When you've been on a job for 3 days and then you're faced with that the first week of school, wow, what an accomplishment. So, Ms. Brayton, we're so proud of you. In addition to that, the response from law enforcement in that area was second to none. Literally within minutes from the time our SRO got from the entrance to the school up to the school, there were police cars from Haines City, from Davenport, from the sheriff's office. And if any of you have been in that area, there's nothing up there but the school. There's no grocery stores, there's no 7-Elevens, there's no gas stations, there is nothing. So when you hear of 2 people being armed in that area, obviously everybody's very scared. So I just want to thank law enforcement from every end of the county in Northeast Polk that came to help and secure that facility. It was absolutely amazing. And I just want to say a shout out and thank you to everyone involved in keeping our kids safe. And I too want to just say a kudos to Mr. Rob Davis. I mentioned something at the last board meeting, thanking him for opening up the call center. And now that we've gone through the first week of school with transportation, those folks did a magnificent job. And as Ms. Bird said, we couldn't have done it without those 30 folks taking calls. Are there improvements to be made, as we've seen? Yeah, of course there is, but that's a huge beginning for us to be able to address the needs of our students as the busing and transportation got rolling for our new school year. So thank you to all of those that played a part in creating the call center, manning the call center, and working with our parents to once again ensure that our kids are safe. So thank you to that whole department. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Fortney?
Yeah, I want to thank the Language and Literacy Academy in Winter Haven for an invitation to hear Manny Scott. If y'all are not familiar with who that is, he is one of the original Freedom writers. You may remember the film from way back. I forget who played the teacher, but he was there in person, and you talking about a powerful statement on how one person can change lives. It is well worth your time. He was amazing, and I want to thank them for the invitation. I want to also thank Hearth, that little portable way out back in the corner. They are stocked full of stuff, and twice I hit them up. They helped me load my SUV, took it to some needy folks, and I just wanted to publicly thank them. I don't know how many back-to-school bashes I hit, but there was a lot. Our community truly does care about our kids, and it showed in those back-to-school bashes. Transportation, big thank you. I was there with Miss Reynolds, as she said, and then I'm good at putting my foot in my mouth, apparently. So I said I would ride on a bus route. Well, my phone blew up in my pocket, and I want to thank Miss Jennifer for being the first winner. I rode the route with her morning and afternoon. And she sat me with kindergartners, which, if you know me, I'm totally secondary, so I was scared the whole ride. So finally my rule was, you keep your hands to yourself. Please don't touch the seatbelt. Hands to self. So, Miss Jennifer Liam, thank you. I appreciate you. That was bus 1336, if you saw us weaving. And it was just with ease. No, I wasn't driving, Miss Bird. But she literally was driving down 98 in a huge bus full of precious lives and never even missed a beat, like legs out of the aisle. And I'm looking back, is that food I hear? I have no idea. I'm like, no, I have no food. I mean, I was like, it was awesome. Just the ease she did it. And then I got to go to the maintenance luncheon, and Miss Bird was able to give out a 45-year service pin to somebody. Oh, my gosh. Which was amazing. In maintenance. And I don't know if they're here or not. I see a lot of maintenance guys, but I don't know if the 45-year pin guy was here. That was amazing. And then I want to thank Dr. Akes, because after I loaded up my SUV, he met me down in Mulberry and helped pack 200 book bags with all that stuff. And he didn't have to do that, and I appreciate that. And, of course, all the single women were like, who is he? And I was like, no. And, yeah. They found him very nice looking. He should be. I got a good picture of him. Yeah. Anyways, and then in Mulberry again, they did a proclamation. The city commissioners did a proclamation welcoming our immigrants and letting them know that they are part of that community. It was very, very, very well attended. And then I want to thank the finance department for that PowerPoint to help explain our shortfall. One of them came actually with me way out in Ponciana and helped answer questions, etc. That's the only way we're going to make changes, to educate folks on how we operate and what we really need to have happen. And just two more things, I promise. The VAM scam, I see Kimberly Moore here. The Ledger did a very good article on what I call VAM scam. I Our district has improved on how we do that, but it's degrading to teachers. It disrupts lives. It disrupts little kids that don't understand why their teacher's not there anymore. And if anybody from the state is listening, please stop it. Please stop it. I'm still bruised from moving a classroom teacher. She had everything. I've never seen a room so nice. Had to take it all down and move it to a portable. It was horrendous. And the teacher feels like, oh, well, I'm not good enough. That's what they feel like. And speaking of teachers and all of our staff, thank you for being employees. Please stay with us. And remember, public schools just do it better. Thank you.
So I get to go after Sarah.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Mr. Townsend?
I'm sorry, Ms. Fortney. I sort of laboring on back and forth whether to talk about this, and I think I will. There's a young man that I got to know since I've been on the board at an event, and he graduated recently from one of our high schools. Wonderful young man, would like to be a police officer. Did real well, and he is a DACA recipient. He's a dreamer, which means he doesn't know from day to day if his parents are going to be around. He doesn't know. He lives in fear of getting a traffic ticket. He thankfully is out of town at college now, so I feel a little more comfortable talking about him. But I was texting with him and talking to him. Was afraid to share his story more widely for fear of somehow triggering harm to him. It's ironic. He wants to grow up to protect the very people who are often most insistent that he not be here, even though he's an American through and through. We heard this morning at the work session that our applications for preschool Head Start, I think this preschool for Head Start, are down. That's largely because people are afraid that harm will come to them if they apply for their kids. And we if you look around the country, you see that in many ways school districts are who is left holding the children in the street when somebody comes to get their parents. That is going to happen here. Better be ready for it. My hope is that things will, people will come to their senses a bit on this. But for now, it's a difficult spot and has real human consequences. They're flesh and blood human beings suffering and dying and orphaned. So all this stuff matters. And sort of to pick up on Sarah's van point, I'm not going to go back all through it all, but just so you know, that equation that nobody else in America uses anymore came from a 2011 white paper. 2011. It was discredited in 2014. There's a statistical, the American Statistical Association discredited it. Everybody who's using it knows exactly what they're doing. Every legislator, Kelly Starr, Argel, all of them, they know it is a deliberate effort to disrupt and harm. That's all it is. There's no good intention behind it. And so I want to say to the teachers who are here and the whole staff, everybody who's here, that you would subject yourself every day to power that wants to hurt you for the betterment of our kids, is like the most selfless thing that I think I know. And I just want to thank you for it. we think about better ways to do it, how we can serve you better, how we can organize things better. But in the end, it's an incredible act of selflessness. We need you much, much, much more than you need us. I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but I wake up every day knowing that, and I appreciate you for it, and have a great year, and call me or call all the rest of us and tell us if there are things we need to know, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. I'd just like to echo Ms. Cunningham's thoughts as it relates to the incident in Davenport, and commend the principal there, the staff there, the sheriff's department, the sheriffs, the police departments, and the police. It's just a remarkable response, and it's clear that our community is going to respond to threats against our children and our students, and it made me very proud to see what happened up there and feel really good about who we are here in Polk County, and so I just wanted to say that. So at this time, if there are no additional comments from the board, at this time I would invite the public to come forward and offer comments. I have a comment cards, and I'll call on those folks first. Again, just some very quick rules. You have 3 minutes. We appreciate your comments. We want to hear your positive comments. We want to hear your criticisms. We want to hear your concerns. Please stay focused on the issues and not on individuals. Please do not disparage the superintendent, her staff, or the board members. If you feel it necessary to do so, please direct your comments towards me. I would also remind you that please don't speak about children or students unless it's your own. Bear in mind that this is a public meeting, and those comments become a matter of public record. So please be aware of that as well. So at this time, I would invite Melissa Stump to come forward.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Melissa Stump, and I'm a parent. I have children at Carlton-Palmer and also at Harrison. I work as a pastor at First United Methodist Church of Lakeland, and I'm a part of the community through Big Brothers Big Sisters at Philip O'Brien and NAACP, and a part of Peace, which I know some of you have been present at Peace activities, and I appreciate that. And my concern today is just the food insecurity of so many of our children and families that are a part of our school system. And so I was given the opportunity to be told and made aware of something called share tables and share bins, and I'm aware that some of our schools are practicing that, and I know I brought it up to the principal at Carlton-Palmer, who is looking into that, but I am wondering if we could possibly make that an opportunity and kind of a policy, I guess, at all schools. Much food is wasted. Unopened milk thrown away, fruits and vegetables untouched thrown away, that some children desperately need. And they need it in order to do well at school, and able to just be the best person that they can be. And so I would like to see this opportunity be given so that that students can be fed. And I know that some of the schools, in an article that I read, even send it home or send it to food banks rather than throwing it away. So not only that students have the ability to eat it there at school, but then can they take an apple home? Can they take some milk home, a banana home? Because they're hungry at night also. And just from my own experience in talking with people in our community, and from years ago before ministry when I taught special education, I know some of my students came to school every day, had not eaten since lunch, the day before, and I know that happens in our community also. So I don't know exactly the process in doing this, but I would be supportive of this, and as a community member, I would just like to see this happen in all of our schools so that our students have basic necessities and that the resources that we have are not thrown away into a trash can. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Stump. Madam Superintendent, is that something we can look into?
Yes, it is, and I'm very well aware that we do have some schools that practice that, and now that we have some new information, we will get with our nutritional department and try to push that out countywide. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, I would invite Kay Kasser and James Watkins on deck.
Down just a little bit. How are you this evening? Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you all for being here and everything that you do. Thank you, Superintendent Byrd. I love to see what you do in our county. As a grandmother of children at Valley View and at Mulberry Middle School, as a PTA president and board member at both schools, it's tremendous growth and just beautiful things happening in the county. So thank you all so very much for that. I also would like to speak about food insecurity. As a retired teacher, I now have a ministry and in the Cumbie Road area. It's called Cumbie Connection Ministry, and we're through Highland Park Church of the Nazarene. We've been out in the streets now a couple weeks shy of 2 years. We feed approximately 1,400 to 2,000 pounds of food per week to families in our area. Families that do not have transportation or are unable to make it to the food banks. The greeting that today alone, we took out 25 families, food to 25 families. The food scarcity and the food insecurity is heartbreaking in our county. We serve predominantly the Cumbie Road area from Skyview to Tenorock, from Lake Parker to Fish Hatchery Road. That's kind of the area that we're in. What we see is children that are just so incredibly hungry. When we pull in, it is just like they're in the boxes before we can get them out of the cars. Kids Pack is an absolutely incredible program, and when I bring this up, I hear so many people say, well, that school has Kids Pack. Well, indeed they do, and it is the most remarkable program. But here's the inside of the home story. You may have 2 children in the school system that receive Kids Pack, but there are 2 to 4 to 5 children not yet in the school system that they share it with when they take it home. And so when you put 3 children, 4 children on 1 can of ravioli, that's not much, right? And as a substitute teacher, in the past we always gave, I got 42 seconds, I gotta hurry. We always gave our money to foreign missions, and then I went to substitute teach in Polk County. And that all changed. So thank you all for having me, and thank you for the consideration of the shared tables.
Thank you, Ms. Gasser. Is James Watkins here?
Yes, right here.
We may need to help him with a microphone. There you go.
Yeah. I'd like to first off to heap thanks and praise and blessings on each and every one of y'all for placing these 4 words up in our school. In God we trust. But I just want to put you the offer to put the bottom half of that sign up, because Satan is with us. And if you believe in God, and I can prove you exist off of 1 vegetable. This vegetable had to be on the outside of the Garden of Eden for Adam and Eve to partake of it. It had to be on the ark with Noah and his 3 sons to bring it to us today. You have to do 3 things to this vegetable before it will reproduce. That's shuck it, pluck it, and plant it. And I ain't seen no monkeys yet plant no corn. So I'm offering my services as a Bible teacher. Just the New Testament is all I want to teach it. There is no religion in this book at all. Religion depends on this book. This book is not religion tainted in it. But without the New Testament to teach our children who our Savior is and who God is, what are we supposed to trust Him in for? All I'm asking for is just an opportunity to not preach them, but teach them the New Testament. And after 20 years of studying this, I can put my knowledge up against anyone that's coming out of theology school, because I can show you how to get in the kingdom. And that's the reason each and every one of us is here on this earth. It's not to heap treasure to ourselves, it's to heap treasure up there waiting for you when you get there. Because you can't take this with you when you go, but you can have it waiting on you when you get there. If our children don't know this, and they're not getting taught this much in school and in the churches, and I ain't got a thing against the churches, but I'm just saying this book right here does not have churches in it. It has an apostle that is written for us, the Gospels. And if these children don't know this they're gonna perish, because Satan is seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. It's not mentally, it's Satan, and he's right up here between our ears. If you don't know how to serve God, you don't know how to get the Holy Ghost to protect you. Perfect love casts out all fear. So that's about my time is up. So I'm just offering y'all my card. You can put the word out to them if they want to come and listen to it. I'll teach them with no religion in mind. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Madam Superintendent, could we have someone meet with Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Um,
Eggs, I see you back there.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank y'all very much.
Sarah Gant?
Good evening. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to bring a serious matter to your attention. Our hopes are that we can begin a dialogue to rectify the situation. My name is Sarah Gant, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the speech-language pathologist working for Polk County Schools. The matter I am bringing to your attention is regarding the incentives given to other personnel which have been denied to the speech-language pathologists, namely the school improvement bonuses, which are given to staff who choose to work at low-performing schools, and the memorandums of understanding not given to speech-language pathologists. These bonuses are denied to speech-language pathologists merely because most of us are designated as district employees. As speech-language pathologists, we are on the same pay scale as teachers. We are required to work the same schedule and hours as teachers. We share in the same school VAM scores, and we are evaluated through the same rating system as teachers. Nevertheless, we are not rewarded when school letter grades improved, but our end-of-the-year evaluations suffer for low school grades. Why are we not rewarded like our peers when our school letter grades improve? As a personal example, I myself was working as a full-time speech-language pathologist in a low-performing school. One year, my highly effective end-of-the-year rating was dropped to an effective rating due to the low performance of my assigned site. But when the school's performance improved, I was denied a $1,500 bonus, which other district employees were given. There are countless other speech-language pathologists who have been denied school improvement bonuses, including the $4,000 bonuses offered through the Unified School Improvement Grants 19 and 20. We are required to obtain master's degrees in our field of specialty. We also hold licenses from the Florida Department of Health, and we are nationally board certified by the American Speech and Hearing Association. As a result of our credentials, speech-language pathology services are a significant source of revenue to the district through Medicaid billing. There is a critical shortage of speech-language pathologists in all Florida public schools, and the need for services continues to rise. We urge the board to ensure equal incentives for all who work hard to see students progress. Please remember the speech-language pathologists. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gant. Can we add this to a work session agenda? Okay. Yeah, we will add this to our next work session agenda for discussion purposes. Thank you. Matt, is it Ager? Aker. Ager. Thank you.
Take this off. Good evening. Alrighty. Just want to say hello to everybody. I'm Matt. I'm the painter from Bartow. Since you were talking about it earlier, brought some of my family here tonight too. We got guys from lots of different shops, C1 shop, L7 shop. We got a couple bus drivers in here. I just want to speak out for myself and for some of the other folks in maintenance, custodians, food service workers, custodians. When I read this, sitting in front of you guys, Polk County Public Schools, when most people think of school, they think of education, learning, children. When I see that school, I see a wall, a ceiling, the lights, this microphone. What I feel and many others feel is that we are the bottom rung. We're the stepchildren. We're an afterthought. All the money, all the budgets, all the attention, all the news coverage, everything goes towards education. And this is, it's a school board. It's supposed to be here for education. But without the buses, without the buildings, without the sidewalks, there is no school. And for an example, last year I took a pay cut. And when I say I took a pay cut, when I take less money home in my pocket, in my paycheck, to me it's a pay cut because I work maintenance. I don't have a college education. I can't use creative accounting to look, oh, you didn't get a pay cut, you got a pay raise, but then we took money out somewhere else. It may not affect people when you're talking millions and $1.7 billion, but when you're talking about the modest, that's your word, the modest salaries that most of us get, any pay cut is a cut, no matter how it gets there, no matter where it comes from. We don't care about accounting. We care about doing our job. And a lot of people are afraid to speak up about it. A lot of the guys out in the field are afraid of it. And what are they doing? Ms. Fortney talked about it earlier. They're just leaving. If there's an opportunity to leave, they leave. We can't find electricians. I've noticed we have permanent signs made now looking for bus drivers, looking for electricians. Why don't they come? I'm on the ground. I can make more money on the street than I can make on the school board now. 13 years ago when I came here, people were waiting for somebody to die so they could get into the school board. That's no longer here. So I just ask you folks, when you're rolling all your big budgets and all your big money, think, what about us? Just keep us in mind when you do the math. I know some of you do, but just think about us, okay? Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Egger. Keith Lightsey?
Good evening, folks. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with y'all tonight. Sorry about the hairdo. I just come from work, so I want to be a part of come to the meet tonight. I work with Matt also at C1 Shop Painter. I've been here 3 years. When I come out here 3 years, I had high hopes to retire here. I had high hopes that this would be the last job I ever had. I consider myself a jack-all-trade master, and I can do a little everything. When I come with the school board, I thought, it'd give me more opportunity to have time off. I have a wife and 3 children. That's not the case. Not just for me, but for most of the maintenance workers, our teachers. I don't leave anybody out, so that's why I said maintenance workers. I work 2 jobs. I have to work here 40 hours a week, and I work on the weekend. I'd like to have the luxury. I should have went to school. I didn't go to school, so I used what God gave me. I got strength. I got work. When it comes to getting something done, again, I've been here 3 years. It seems like maintenance pulls it together. Teachers, I wouldn't want their job. Miss Bird, I wouldn't want your job. I've seen you around at the schools. Do I believe that Mrs. Bird needs a chief of staff? Absolutely. I totally 100% believe that she needs somebody. In the same breath, I'd like to say that also we got a 5-man paint crew. No way we can keep up with the schools. No way that we can do the outside, the inside. When I first started, I was told that at one time they had 2 paint crews. What happened, I don't know. My notice, been here 3 years, I see a lot of contractors popping up. To me, that's scary. Again, I wanted to be here until I retired. I don't know if that's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen in the near future. I just, it's hard for me to believe that contractors cost a lot less than what we can do it in-house. I hope that maybe that would be taken into consideration. One more thing I'd like to say is that when I hired on, in the paperwork that I signed, that I filled out, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, steps. My first year I was here, nothing happened. Waited a whole year. I got a small, my first step come last year. I've now been here almost 3.5 years. I'm looking around, I've been told that there's no money, you know, and everything that I hear is like, it's not in this fund, it's not in that fund, their fund comes from here. Again, I'd just like to reiterate, please think about the smaller guys, smaller ladies, teachers working so much. Real quick, 19 seconds, shout out to my mom, a school nurse. Understaffed. When you have to look at 400 kids and some of them got diabetes and you spend extra time and don't get paid for it, it sucks. So please, please consider us. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Lightsey. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and offer comments at this time? Please come forward. Would you give us your name, please, for our records?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Margie Patterson. I am the Vice President of Bus Drivers and the Attendants for AFSCME. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you. I hope you get to retire here. Y'all know me, I'm a crier. I've been here for 30 years. Y'all know that. I love this job. I raised my family on this job. Miss Bird needs this chief of staff. We understand that. We just feel like it's bad timing. There's so much that our schools need. We need help also. And when I see somebody, I'm so sorry, 3 years, hang in there. We're gonna make it better, I promise. We're gonna all work together and we're gonna fix this. I see so many people in this position and they just want to walk away. And I try to get them to stay because I love this job. I love this county. I understand what you say, and I thank you for that thought. And I understand the need, but I just feel like that our needs are more important at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson.
Larry Milhorn, President of AFSCME Local 2227. And I have spoke out against the Chief of Staff, and it's because of time. It's not because I don't think we need a Chief of Staff. We need organization, and I realize that. The problem I have, somebody like Margie, Mr. Lightsey, and Matt and them, these people work hard every day. Our bus drivers are amazing to me. They get our kids to school and home every day. And I'm telling you, there's not very many incidents that we have on account of them people working so hard to make sure the job's done right. Our maintenance people and everybody do the job. I sit in a negotiation meeting last night, and it doesn't look good from the people I represent. And like Matt said, he took a pay cut last year. And if we do some of the things that we said at that table last night, he's going to get another pay cut this year. I know it's not all your fault. I know the state legislature put us here. They send us $32 million, and then they say you got to use it for this, this, and this, and we end up with $10 million. Our health insurance is in such bad shape, we have to have money to fix that. And we got a choice, either health insurance or raises. We can't do both, and I realize that. I've seen the budget. I've had people look at the budget. And I know that you're not lying to me when you say we have no money. It's just hard for me to explain to the people I represent when we spend $165,000 for one position. A position I honestly think we need. I just don't think it's going to be easy for me to explain to the people I represent why we spent that money for one position, and that position would probably hire five custodians. Get the square footage down for them custodians, because they're told, don't take vacation till we clean the schools in the summer. You know, don't do this. And then when school starts, we don't want you off there either. They earn them vacations. And I'm telling you that when the end of the year comes, if they haven't been able to take a vacation, sooner or later, they're going to start losing time that they've earned. And we got to work something and fix that. And Ms. Bird, I praise you. You're there every time I turn around for my people. And I thank you for doing that. And the board members that came to the bus drivers in service and to the maintenance, I thank you for coming there, because the people, when they see you out there, they believe you care. But it's kind of hard when the budget is making it hard for them.
Thank you, Mr. Milhorn. Do we have anyone else who'd like to come forward and speak at this time?
My name is Stephanie Yoakum. I am the president of Polk Education Association. I debated on whether I was going to say anything tonight, but after my Ask Me brothers and sisters have talked, I felt like it was needed. You have the power to do something about this, and you talked about it in the work session around the millage referendum. I know that many on the board are apprehensive of going for it before the 3 years with the resolution put in the half-cent sales tax. I am very worried that by 2022, we will not have people in these schools that we could even give that money to at that point. I think waiting 3 years is gonna be too late. We see this now in their positions. People are leaving in droves because they can get money and more money in different places. You have the power to act. I urge you to act sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Ms. Yoakum. Anyone else like to come forward and speak? Yes, sir.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come talk to you tonight. My name is Randy Dietrich. I'm a paint and body guy at Shop 3 in Lake Wales. I've been working with something major, and there's been a lot of support from a couple board members on getting the problem taken care of. And I'm not going to tell everybody what it is, but the board members are seeing a face that they probably don't know who they were helping, okay? We have some problems in our custodial staff. And we need to work. I've been working probably 15 years to solve this problem. And it looked like it got solved this year, okay? But I am getting back flack from it because I'm a painter and people don't understand. I wish before this thing would have got so blown out of proportion that I could have been more in the forefront, because my understanding is it's got totally blown out of proportion. And there was no reason for that, because it's something very simple that would save probably several years of our lives for our custodians, okay? And I've used this for years, okay? The union's standing behind me totally. on what we're doing, because I am Larry Milhorn's chief steward, okay? I do realize money is short, but guys, we've got to figure out to do something, because you are losing a lot of good people, and the people you're replacing them with aren't the quality of the people you're losing. I wish everybody would really concentrate, and I realize we need the person that Ms. Bird needs, okay? And I agree, maybe it's not the best timing, but the problem is we don't have years to fix this problem. We've got to do it now. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dietrich? Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
You mentioned that there was a solution to a problem, and I'm not sure if it was resolved or not. Is it still a problem?
I think it'll be resolved before next summer.
Okay.
We're not totally at the final stages of it yet. We're still working on it.
Okay, so you're convinced it's going to be resolved?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Bishop Mincy?
We got so many problems, and I think that somebody said, that lady back there said, the answer is going to be at the polls this next election. We got to go there, and we got to change the men and women that serve us in Tallahassee. Amen. We got people here that sit on this board, their hands are tied. Y'all may not believe it, but their hands are tied because you can't, as old folk can't get blood out of a turnip. If it ain't no money, you can't do nothing. But they have proposed some stuff, and I believe you ought to try that chief of staff they want to do, and I believe you'll see a result from that, because it's going to put somebody there that can go after the things that you need. Superintendent and these board members are doing certain things, but they can't go and face some of these people that need to be faced. And, I think about, like, the rich get richer and the poor get poor. The rich people get a lot of breaks, and we know that's not right. And I think about what Jesus told his disciples, that the poor you're going to have with you always. We ain't going to never get rid of the poor. All of the hungry children and all of the things that are happening. But I think if we could get our focus on this that you're talking about, and please, let's go to the polls, because we got some people that really, their hearts are not concerned about the low people. They are concerned about the upper people, and we see that because all of the things that they have done down through the years. Even our governor came with some new stuff. Amen. He's a new man, but he came with some new stuff, and it wasn't about public education. It's about the private people and all that. So we need to really think about what we need to be doing and how we can corral all our people and encourage them to see the importance and stop saying their vote don't count. Every vote counts. And do what we got to do to make a difference, because my heart goes out tonight when I think about people saying they don't have enough and they got to work 2 jobs and got this and got to do that. It's not right, because it ought to be equal pay, higher pay for what you do, and everybody is somebody. So I want you all to be encouraged tonight as you go forth, and don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't quit. Your victory is just around the corner, but you gotta trust, amen, what the plan is. Sometimes you don't see the plan, but you got to trust the plan. And if you trust the plan, I guarantee you, you're gonna see the results that you want to see. Time is always involved now. You gotta have a little patience. Can't just rush it, but it'll come, because the God that we serve is faithful to every promise he has made. God bless you tonight, and be encouraged.
Thank you, Bishop Mincy. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and offer comments at this time? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, please.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Danielle Mercer. I'm a bus driver, and I'm leaving. I love what I do. I really do. I love the people I work with, but I can't. I can't do it. I've gone back to school. I graduate next month to be a nurse. But I have a family here, and I get that. I did serve on the union, but I had to quit that because I went back to school and I couldn't be there for them like I should. But at the same time, when you say you don't have money to give us a raise, you don't have money to make another position. There's no way. It's not fair to the attendants that live on welfare that work for our county. It's not right. It's not right for bus drivers. But we shouldn't have to work multiple jobs to take care of our own people. There should be money there for everybody. You know, if we got raises every year like we're supposed to, you would keep people. That's one of the reasons why I'm leaving. You know, I am going to take a little bit of a pay cut coming out of school, but at the same time, I'm making more money than I am sitting behind a bus dealing with children that I love doing, but at the same time, the timing is not right for this position. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ms. Mercer. Could you give us your name, please, for our records?
My name's Darrell Robertson. I'm a bus driver. I didn't get here early enough to sign up because my run ends near 5 o'clock up on 27 above Heart of Florida Hospital. Drove my bus back to Shop 3, parked it, got in my vehicle, and came here as quick as I could.
Yes, sir.
I came to speak out in opposition of the Chief of Staff's position, okay? But I don't want to be misconstrued. I certainly believe we need it, but you've heard it tonight many times already since I've been here. The timing is bad. It's difficult, like she said, when we have attendants that are barely making a 4-figure salary to justify to them hiring somebody in a 6-figure salary, okay? What I'm concerned about is the message that this will send if you go forward with this. You're going to have a chief of staff position with very few staff for them to be chief of. We keep losing teachers. We're losing bus drivers. I work in an area where we have 8 routes with no drivers right now. But those kids still got to get to school somehow. You're asking us to work harder with less. I'm asking the top administrators. Ms. Bird, I love you. You've supported us as bus drivers before. I'm not saying you don't deserve some relief. We all do. I'm just saying the message it sends to our frontline people, the teachers, the bus drivers, the attendants, the custodial, the food service, the message that sends to them that you don't matter, because that is what we hear loud and clear when you do this. Please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robertson. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and offer comments? Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the board? This meeting is adjourned.